Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd, and welcome back to Morrowind. Well, last time, we went on an epic journey to get this Argonian home, and I feel good about that, damn it, that was the right thing to do. And today, right, I think we now have all the information we need to track down Azura's secret cavern and prove I'm the Nerevarine once and for all. Though far more importantly than that, it's also flipping a moving day today. At long last, we could get all my stuff out of the Mages Guild and take it to my new Doom Fortress, so, Galbedir is going to be delighted about this. And Galbedir, I know I've said this before, but don't you flipping worry. I mean it this time, and you know I mean it, because I've literally moved my recall point to right flipping here in my new Doom Fortress. And I've also been thinking, this balcony outside, this could be an excellent spot to store all my stuff because this is way bigger than the hallway I've been using so far. But okay, first things first, it's very important we understand how transport works in and out of my new base because obviously now I can get here anytime I want to. Getting out, however, that's going to be a bit more difficult. So option number one, we've got our CV intervention, and presumably, yes, that would take me to probably Morag, but fine. Let you know, cast that spell, and see where I pop up next. And 100% that is Morag, so okay, that's fine, but I suspect, yes, that's not going to be what I do most of the time. Because yes, if I just recall back to my home base for a second, there we go, lovely. From here, presumably, Divine Intervention, that would take me eastwards to Satrith Mora, specifically to Wolverine Hall. Oh yeah, there we go at Wolverine Hall right here. And that's sort of interesting because from Wolverine Hall, go into the door right behind me where I appear, that's the Imperial Shrine. Then just go into the stairwell, and we just go down one floor to Fighters Guild. Hang on, one more floor down, I think, and that's Wolverine Hall. Okay, I know the Mages Guild is round here somewhere. Okay, it's one up from the Imperial Shrine, not down. So yeah, just go in that door, go up one flight of stairs. Now we're in the Mages Guild. There's Mages Guild teleportation. So from here, I can just fast travel straight back to Balmora, together with Aldrune, Vivek, Caldera, though Caldera's not particularly interesting. There's basically nothing there as far as I can tell, so, okay. It's basically, yes, as easy to get back to Balmora as it ever was. Just now it's 2 stages, not 1, but it barely takes any time whatsoever, so, okay. Divine Intervention, that's going to be how I make this new base work in terms of fast travel. Before I do that, though, do not forget, I've got a tiny bit of business in Satrith Mora while I'm passing by. Just outside the fortress, right here in Dirty Muriel's Corner Club, here we go, a big Halende. I'm pretty sure, yes, we've got the Grandmaster's McGibble for you. There you flippy go, 200 gold, lovely. And better, given I was just on my way back to the Mages Guild, the next job is hire a wizard to protect these guys from the Kimono Tong. And okay, according to the locals in the guild, the person who's most likely to be hired would be Ariel Fiensel. And Ariel will do it. She doesn't even want paying, but she wants a raw ebony. Bring me the ebony, I'll send you a guard. So raw ebony is, yeah, found all over the shop. Dwemer ruins, smuggler caves, all sorts. So, okay. Next time I see a Dwemer ruin, pop in there, see if we can get the raw ebony we need for this person. Though I tell you what, given I'm doing my moving right now anyway, just back to Balmora nice and quickly, it is entirely possible I've already got 4 raw ebony. And I just, dumped it somewhere here or so. Okay, seriously, Galbedir, I know I've said this before, but this time, I really do mean it. It's moving day. We are going to clean out this bloody hallway. Admittedly, I'm not really seeing anything that looks like ebony to me, so, okay, may need to pick that up later, but, okay. Here's the plan for how we're going to get all this stuff to my new base. Because right now, I've only got 50 spare weight capacity, which is not great. So if I pick up, like, a handful of bits and pieces, etc., etc., I'm already over-encumbered. But being over-encumbered doesn't mean you can't just, pick up more stuff. The game has got no problems with you just being increasingly more and more over-encumbered. So what I'm gonna do is pick up literally everything, and yes, every single book, please, every single bloody book. Okay, so I've picked up everything within a grabbable range of where I am, getting me up to 1,119 weight out of 500. But, just because I can't move, that doesn't mean I can't recall. And here we go, back on my balcony, still in possession of all that bloody stuff. So now we just start dumping that on the ground, and, okay. As time goes by, I will be tidying this up a little bit. Okay, this is not ideal, I don't just want it to be random piles anymore. I want this space out here to be properly organised. There we go, I've now shed enough stuff, I can actually move again, and, okay. It's time to start thinking about organisation, because, fine, weapons and armour, I'm happy to leave out here, that's okay. But books, however, you can't leave books outside. If it started raining, they'd be ruined, so I need to, mosey in here and figure out a nice place to store all my books. And I think this table, right here, just inside the upper tower, that feels spot on. It literally came with a book on it, so, oh yeah. We should use this as, like, a storage table for all my favourite noteworthy books. So, okay, just move the candles to the edge of the table, get rid of, the pitcher and glasses and whatnot. And this is now going to be where we store some of the most historically significant books in all of Vardenfell. Here we go, Cagranac's flipping playbook right here. Then we've just got some random ancient Dwemer secrets. That one is very pretty, like the front cover of that. The very first edition of the Lusty Argonian Maid, which isn't very significant yet, but it will be in the future, damn it. This book shows up everywhere in later Elder Scrolls games. Here we go, the Egg of Time, another hugely significant historical text here, so, oh yeah, this here, this is fancy as anything. And also a tiny bit smutty at the end here. Oh, and don't forget, Hanging Gardens, that's an important book too. So okay, that is classy as anything. A few books of, yes, less great historical significance. They could just be stored upstairs in my dining room for a bit of a light reading if I'm ever in the mood. And as for my highly convenient storage closet and storage desk here, I think, yes, I'm finally going to dump a huge amount of flipping notes I've just been carrying around this entire time. Hilariously, this entire time I've been carrying around like £10 worth of notes. Apparently, those really add up if you just carry all of those everywhere. Okay, good start. Let's step outside here and, yes, consider the layout on the balcony. So, if the door's here, facing in this direction, I feel like straight ahead, the centerpiece of everything, that should be where we lay out the weapons. There we go, all my staffs together at the end. We might use them one day. We've got Scourge right here. We've got Stormforge, Velof's Judgment, we used you for quite a while. Daedric Longsword, a Bow of Shadows, etc, etc. So, okay, we're starting to put together a system here. Okay, next big section should be armor, clothing, and other apparel. So I feel like logically, yeah, that should go over here on the left, with the shields halfway between the weapons and the armor. Because they're kind of like, halfway between the two if you think about it. Because, yeah, on the right of the balcony, we're going to be wanting to keep that area nice and empty, because that's where I arrive. Okay, sometime later, and I am actually rather proud of this. So, as I was saying, weapons at the front, then we've got shields off to the left, then armour. Obviously, I've arranged it in groups if there are matching pieces and whatnot. Helmets at the top, and then we've got, yes, arm guards, chest pieces, leg guards, etc. Boots were going to go at the bottom, but yes, the Dwemer boots are flying were really, really bloody big, so as a result, boots go off to one side. And then over here, this bit I particularly like, by the way, we've got various bits of enchanted apparel, so, amulets at the top. Then we've got basic clothing. Then boots, belts, gloves, and rings at the bottom. So, okay. Everything's now pretty bloody well organised. Together with, yes, my crafting gear, in terms of alchemy and enchantment, that's over on this side. But of course this is just the starting point. Because there's a lot more upstairs in the Mages Guild yet. So, okay, just mop up the tiny few bits and pieces I left on this side. Just standing here, we should now be able to get not quite everything, but okay. There's gonna be a third trip, but we're gonna get the majority of it right now. Right, trip number 2 is sorted out, including a very large amount of staff, so yes, needed to extend the staff section, but... oh, this is so much better. I'm so happy I got round to doing this. Though hilariously, I need to, yes, have a nap before I finish off moving day, cause I've used all my magic teleporting back and forth. But okay, one last trip, just to make sure we've not missed anything that sort of, you know, merges into the rug or whatnot. There's definitely some more rings there, actually. And even more rings. Okay, hang on, I see that one from this angle, so don't worry. I'm gonna hoover before I go. I'm not going to leave anything behind, Galbedir. And the very last thing, at the bottom of the pile, it's my original Colovian fur helm. I'd forgotten I even still had this, but apparently it was just here, at the bottom of the pile of stuff, so, okay, obviously, that's coming with me, and I think with that, it's all clear. You're very welcome, Galbedir. Okay. For those of you who, yes, found my giant pile of junk in Balmora incredibly distressing, I think you're going to enjoy this, so, right, every single spare weapon. The grouping is not perfect, but I've tried to, like, you know, put hammers and maces on one side, all the staffs together, swords on the other, etc, etc. All the shields, all the armor, including all the helmets and the Colovian helm in a pride of place right at the very top here. Every single cocky spare ring because, okay, turns out there are a lot of bloody rings in this game. Then gloves, belts, shoes, clothing, amulets right to the top there, and that is pleasing to look at. Once again, just various crafting McGibbles over on this side. On top of that, I finally got round to, yes, clearing a whole bunch of probes, lockpicks, and old keys out of my inventory. And small curiosities I'm just displaying in my bedroom, though, okay, admittedly these are things I probably shouldn't display in my bedroom, given... I mean, they're definitely cursed in some capacity. Still, this one appears to be glowing on the inside, so, you know, it kind of makes a nice nightlight. So yeah, put all that together, and all of a sudden my inventory is looking a lot more sensible. But just look at the weapons. That is lovely right there. Okay, I am so happy I got round to doing this. And one final check back at the Mages Guild, but I am pretty sure we have got everything, so... oh, Galbedir. Right, no wonder she's 100 out of 100. She is thrilled we finally bothered to clean up. And okay, as it's probably the only thing you could do for me, I'm even going to do some unarmored training with you, just for the sake of, you know, basically giving you some money. Plus, unarmed 30, nice round number. I do appreciate a nice round number. And also, John, do not forget, while you're back in Balmora, there's a few tiny bits and pieces to turn in. For example, just up the road at the Legion of Fort and whatnot. I forgot my bloody Imperial uniform again. This entire faction is just a con to get me to buy more and more armor. He can't even see the armor when I'm wearing it, by the way, because it is underneath my robe. It is literally invisible, but somehow this guy just magically knows. Also, I rescued What's-His-Face. You're very welcome. And I even get a promotion with... well, now I don't need the bloody armor, because I just bought some armor, so... okay, I feel like the Legion is just messing with me at this point. And okay, next time I'm passing nearby to Gunnar Mock, there's yet another person to rescue in that bit of the world. Oh, but I will give you, though. This Templar Knight McGibble looks kinda sexy. Hang on, take off the robe so we can actually see it and whatnot, and... oh, that is much better. Right, dump this on the ground here, just in case it needs to get in future. But okay, this could stay. This is pretty sexy, actually. Not the greaves, though. They're trash. They can be dumped too. And there was a couple more things to take care of just up the road as well. In fact, yeah, I've got multiple things to do in Aldrone. Though, blimey, not a nice day here today, so, okay, step one. At this point, yes, I'm already much lighter than I was before in terms of carry capacity. But that can be made even better because you, sir, you wanted a giant pile of scrap, didn't you? And here you flipping go. And that gets me promoted to captain. Okay, now that's a pretty good bloody rank. And while I'm here, okay, this guy wants the Darts of Judgment. Very rare arrows are made in Valenwood. So the guy's a guard at one of the manors just over the road. If you find the darts there, you can use them, but the guild will pay good money if you don't want them. So, right, if I was an archer, probably those are really good and I'm going to be wanting to use them. For me though, yeah, I will gladly just trade those in for money and reputation. I also think, yes, I had leftover scrap, so just a dump of that here, and... okay, much better on the old weight front there, spot on. While I'm standing outside the guild though, yes, there was also a Morag Tong business inside the Mages Guild. We need to find Movis Daris. Either he joins the Morag Tong, or he dies today. Right, get my smashing hammer ready, just in case he decides to be silly about this. And I thought it might be you, the guy who was pretending he was here because he didn't know how to read, so, okay. Before we do anything, try and admire him. I'm getting better and better at speech here. In fact, there we go, Speechcraft 31, beautiful. And okay, that's him over 90. How about, sir, you join the Morag Tong? But I'm just a simple peasant. What do I know about killing and all that? And, right. You could join, or you could die. Your choice, buddy. And if you know, then it's over. I swore an oath to the Dark Brotherhood, but I've learned that their ways are not as honourable as the Morag Tong. All I can promise you is I'll speak to Eno Hlalo. If that's good enough, report to him. If not, I'll test your skill. Take this belt as a sign of my good faith, so... There may be a really significant cultural gesture for this guy, I genuinely don't know. But I'm going to assume that's okay, though... that's one of the special belts, isn't it? On this occasion, a fortifying block for 5 points, and... you know what, I do enjoy using block. And right now I've got, yes, the blood belt on, which is fine, but also needs to be cast, which I will never ever do. So honestly, a constant effect belt, that's pretty good. And okay, while we're here in Aldrone, I may as well go and get those lovely arrows for what's-his-face over in the Thieves Guild. So okay, step one, track down the right manor house. Here we go, a third in from the door on the left. Beautiful. So okay, hang on. Who are we, like, looking for here? Aindel, who's a Balsamor archer, and I think also someone said guard, so... we're looking probably for guards' quarters, not the main bedrooms, which are generally distinct in this sort of area, so there we go. Guard quarters. Let's have a chat to a random guard here. Can we ask you about the Darts of Judgment, Aindel? No, not showing up as an option, so, right. This might be the right location. The problem being, yes. How do we find them if we've got no one we can ask about this? Oh, hang on. In the front room, though, we've got Aindel herself. So, right. You, we need to chat up to make sure you're nice and on side. That went very well, actually. Let's talk about your Darts of Judgment. None of your business. Okay, continue admiring, and let's get her right up to 100. And still nothing. Right. She's definitely not willing to discuss that. But to confirm, yeah, she's an archer and a hireling. That makes me think that, yeah, the room I was just in, the guards' quarters, that's got to be the right place to look. And hello, sexy, we've got a bow round here, so... okay. Darts of Judgment. Problem being...
what outlet?
I'm very overlooked right now, so right, we may need to do the old invisibility track. So okay, just start around the corner here, that's enough to not be spotted. And then we just disappear. Disappear Mark 2. And right, now nobody should be able to see a thing. Just a pop in this direction. It's possible, yeah, eventually they would have all wandered off anyway. But, grab you, 500, 500, 500, and 500 as well. No, don't sleep! You get into a mysteriously large amount of trouble for sleeping in the wrong bed in this game. So, okay. Get them, mosey back outside, and, yeah. Hopefully, the Thieves Guild is going to pay way over market value for those things. And okay, these are, I assume, throwables. So, Marksman, attack 1 to 12. That seems kind of terrible, because yeah, leveling up Marksman wouldn't make them stronger. It would just make them, you know, more likely to hit. So, okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding those, but those look terrible to me. So, here you go, darts of judgment for you, my friend, and he's literally paying market value for them. Then again, if I tried to sell them, I'd be, yes, losing out because, you know, my merchant skill isn't that good. So, yeah, I'm getting a better deal by selling them to him than I would do to any store. So, fair enough, Aingoth. Oh, and hello, sexy. This guy's out of jobs, but he's suggesting I might want to speak to Sugarlips, done her work already, Big Helende, work in progress, or the Master Thief himself, Gentleman Jim Stacy, Innovivic, but very choosy about who he works with, so, alright, this guy is willing to give me a proper destination. Look for him in Innovivic, you'll find him in the basement of a bookstore in the Foreign Quarter, so, right. At long bloody last, we actually get to meet the leader of this guild. Just one last thing while I'm in this bit of the world, which is a bit of a mystery. You see, Imperial Legion and Maiden's Token is still listed as an active quest, even though I kinda resolved it by giving the glove back to Omeni Dran, so that makes me think, yes, possibly I could also go back and speak to Imsin the Dreamer in the nearby Imperial Fort to get some Legion reputation. Also, delightfully, there are now, you know, Dwemer spiders just floating around inside this pub because I brought this guy the scrap and he used it to repair the spiders, so, okay, that's super cute that these guys are now present and defending the Thieves Guilds. And there we go. Imson is willing to acknowledge the way I chose to wrap up that mission. Lovely. And okay, she's out of missions too. Now, unfortunately, she's not pointing me in a different direction, so, right, keep doing work for Moonmoth. Presumably, sooner or later, they'll point me at someone else who wants to speak to me. But okay, that's enough side stuff. Let's get to the real business I want to take on today, and that is discovering the secret Nerevarine cave. Now, based on what we've heard from the various Ashlanders, yeah, it feels like this long valley here, this is the one we ought to be going along, starting at the top, next to a pair of rocks that look like big sharp teeth. So the best starting locations are going to be, yes, somewhere around Vos or whatnot. We can just head overland, loop around the coast, and see if we can locate that mysterious rock formation. That bare minimum will let me know I'm going in the right direction. And you know what? Another advantage of my new base is, this is going to make it way easier to get across to that side of the map, because all of a sudden, yeah, I can now just recall straight to my base, loving my new base. Look at that, that's so much better. And from there, just divine intervention. And okay, all of a sudden we've got access to the Sadrith Mora boat. And that goes pretty much bloody everywhere. I do enjoy, by the way, how the shopkeeper I left here is still just here. Berwyn apparently will never move again.
How nice, I like good company. What can I do for you?
And she doesn't appear to be holding a grudge either. So okay, just a mosey north or west past, yes, a whole bunch of the stuff we've seen previously. If I just keep going in a straight line, the point where I hit the coast, that should be roughly where I'm trying to get to anyway. And there we go, on the way, acrobatics reaches 69, lovely. So okay, just one more, and the Thieves Guild will be willing to... Wait, the Thieves Guild just promoted me anyway. I kind of thought I needed to hit 70 to be promoted to the next rank, but I just got captain regardless. No, it was Morag and Tong I needed to be at 70 to be promoted, though, okay, now I have been promoted, I need it for Thieves Guild as well, so, right, keep on hopping, that's very important, and, Yeah, we should be roughly where I wanted to get to anyway. Weapons away, mosey around the coast here. If I am where I think I should be, then yeah, there should be a pair of, there we go, big old rocks, though. Okay, I'm also being attacked. No worries, guys, no worries. So, okay, I have located the mysterious Valley of the Winds. So we now know we've made it to the right valley. The problem is, valleys are long, so the entrance could be anywhere in here. We know when the entrance opens, only at dawn or dusk. The problem is what the entrance looks like when it's not dawn or dusk, and also what time counts as dawn or dusk in Morrowind. That could be more of a problem. We're looking for the skin of a pearl. So, you know, like a light pink, presumably. Right, let's just mosey along and see what we can find. Because the time right now is 8 AM. And probably is too late to count as dawn. But yeah, presumably we just need to find something that looks like it might open, even if it's not open right now. Okay. First door here is an ancestral tomb. Well, go on then. I do love a tomb. And on top of that, yeah, it's possible this tomb isn't just a tomb. Well, we got a couple of Bone Lords right here. Finish these losers off, and then check your stats to make sure they're not knackering you or anything. There we go, lovely. I'm pretty sure they just did, actually. They just did something. No, never mind. He may have just been buffing himself. And okay, on this occasion, a very small tomb. Literally just 2 rooms, in fact. Handful of terrible potions, a bit of gold here and there, though. Okay. Honestly, slightly underwhelming tomb. Dear, oh flipping dear. Oh, and bloody hell, back outside, a storm swept in. That's no good. That's going to make it much more difficult to spot, you know, secret doors. Still, eyes open, and just make sure you don't miss anything off to the side. Because we're looking for something that has the capability of not being open, presumably right now, in fact, given, yeah, it's definitely long after dawn at the moment. So, okay. Eyes open. There's got to be something round here. Though here's interesting. I was assuming, yeah, this valley went all the way down here. But actually, no. The path starts veering round to the right. Okay, hang on. I need to wait till I can see, because otherwise I can't figure out whether I'm in the correct valley anymore or not. There we go, much better. So, right. There is more valley over in that direction, but that valley doesn't actually have the teeth. This is like, you know, the upper valley up here. That's possibly a distinct lower valley. So, okay, stick to the path, but yeah, now I can see much more easily what's going on. So, right, keep on keeping on. That's a ghost defense over there. Then we've got ourselves... right. I suspect we've just found our flipping doorway. Question is, as I say, what precisely counts as dawn or dusk?
The door is locked and will not open. The star is the key.
Also, the door talks to you. That's kind of interesting, because in this game barely anything bloody talks to you. So, right. We know what to do. We just need to wait until what's officially dusk. I think 6 PM should do it, so just wait 2 hours. I mean, that looks pretty dusky to me, door, but fine, you're going to be fussy about this. 1 more hour. No, seriously, 7 PM is definitely dusk, but fine. Make it 8. Okay, possibly... oh, maybe the door was open already. It's entirely possible it was open a couple of hours ago. I just thought it was going to, like, you know, very dramatically open automatically. Instead, I just needed to, like, go and push it. Okay, wait until the following morning, and this time, actually try the door.
In the dawn hour under Azura's star, the door is opened.
And there we flippy go. So, okay. We're now inside of the secret cave. Oh, and hello. I'm not the first person to come this way, suggesting... oh. You guys failed Nerevarine, aren't you? People who, thought they might be the Nerevarine and theoretically could have become the Nerevarine, because prophecy is weird in Morrowind, but it didn't work out. So instead, you ended up here. Right. So what's next, precisely? Oh, hang on. The statue has got something in its hands. The moon and star, so... fortify personality and speechcraft by 5. I'm gonna be honest, that's a bit on the disappointing side. Like, the story's told of a magical ring crafted by the Dwemer that meant Nerevar was widely beloved by everybody. I was really expecting more like 50 points of personality and speechcraft, but fine, I suppose. And that puts a bit of a different spin on you guys, because, the whole point of the ring is, only Nerevar could put it on. If someone who wasn't Nerevar put it on, they died. There was, like, a curse, so... right, these would be the possible Nerevarine who made it this far in their quest, but then the ring rejected them. Well, we may as well give it a go, so grab that, lovely.
Nerevar reborn, incarnate. Your first 3 trials are finished. Now, 2 new trials lie before you. Seek the Ashlander Ashcans and the Great House Councillors. 4 tribes must name you Nerevarine. 3 houses must name you Hortator. My servant, Nabane Mesa, shall be your guide. And when you are Hortator and Nerevarine, when you have stood before the false gods and freed the heart from its prison, heal my people and restore Morrowind. Do this for me, and with my blessing.
Okay, well, that makes me think I'm the actual proper Nerevarine, given apparently Azura just told me so, though... okay, also no. The people aren't alive again, because you're sort of transparent. Right, you're ghosts, aren't you? Okay, crucially though, it's time to, just make sure I'm actually Nerevarine. So, take off one of my rings, a Ring of the Wind will do fine, and put on the Moon and Star. If I explode, I'm not Nerevar. If I don't explode, I am. So... okay, I don't appear to have exploded. Good for me. So right, that makes me the Nerevarine, and you losers aren't, and... I'm gonna be honest, I'm sad to see Peakstar here, because you were mentioned as, yes, the most recent attempted Nerevarine, so I was kind of assuming we might find you alive at some point. But no, you're dead. Though you made it quite far in your quest by the Luxioffets. And okay, all the ghosts are acknowledging me as the true real Nerevarine. Lovely. And as a result of wearing the ring, yeah. That basically means it's a done deal. At least as far as the people who believe in the Nerevarine are concerned. For people who don't believe in the prophecies anyway, yeah, this ring could just be any ring. This will persuade some people, not necessarily everybody, though... right, as a result the temple will know me as an enemy. Well, that's going to be embarrassing for them, because I'm the cocky Pope. And not just the temple and the ordinators either. The tribunal faithful of the great houses are not going to be keen on me, because... they're the established powers, and I'm the one who wants to change everything. So, right. A lot of people who might have been chill around me previously and might now be a bit on the nasty side. And it sounds like my next objective is, yes, get everyone to agree I'm a flipping awesome, and name me War Leader of all of Ardenfell, which is going to involve everybody coming together. Now, in some cases, like the Telvanni, that's going to be manageable, because I already run that faction. Others, maybe not so much. And we're not even done with the Ashlanders either. By the sounds of it, yeah, we now need to go before the Ashkhans and persuade all of them to officially name me Nerevarine. I'm guessing Nabani and Sul Matul will be happy with me. The others, we might need to do a bit more yet, though. You know what? Last episode, we did go around doing some work for every single faction, so if we're lucky, some of them might be chill immediately. Oh, and here's interesting. By the sounds of it, yes, everyone in here failed incarnates like I was saying. They're willing to explain how they failed, and to maybe give me something to help out a bit. So, yeah. Your problem is, though you survived the Blight and whatnot, ultimately you couldn't master the arts of war, so you died against an ash vampire. And also, you weren't very good at the political side of this and couldn't get the Great Houses to work with you in the slightest. Meaning as a result, she's given me travel-stained pants. Okay, that doesn't sound that exciting to be honest. Oh no, that's 10 points of levitate when used, so, right, you can keep your pants actually, those are terrible. And the embroidered belt is, fortify willpower. Once again, not constant, and that can just stay with you, so, right. Have any of you got, like, you know, anything useful to give me? Oh, and this is cute. Some of the failed Nerevarine didn't even know they were potential Nerevarine. So this person was like, you know, a crusader for the temple, who believed in all the temple stuff and never even knew that they might be Nerevarine. Until they died, at which point, yes, like, Azura summoned them here or something. And she's given me a mace, but oh dear. That's a very, very bad mace. I mean, it will give you damaging your opponent's agility, that's fine, but only up to 17 damage. I can't see us ever using that, though. As it's unique and a weapon, I will keep it and add it to my new lovely sexy collection. Then we've got someone who's around back in the period when Morrowind fell to the Empire in the first place, giving me a spear with a decent enchantment, but okay. I can see why you guys failed. Your weapons were not up to snuff. The chest pieces are bad though. 11 points health and 20 points of fatigue would be okay at an earlier point in the game, but okay, once again, I feel like that's not for me. And in fact, yeah, several of these people simply didn't know anything about the Nerevarine, so, okay. These people, by the sounds of it, were sort of, I don't know. I was about to say chosen by Azura, but they weren't. Probably you were just born at the right time under the right circumstances, which meant all of a sudden you fit the prophecy, even though you'd never heard the prophecy, and apparently as a result you just end up here inside this cave anyway when you die, so, okay, this prophecy's bloody weird. Azura's just literally collecting people who had no idea about the prophecy in question. Okay, one of them, however, gave me an axe, which is not so bad. 33 damage and also comes with a fortify attack 10 points. Not much gives you fortify attack, that's okay. Unfortunately, yes, axes aren't really for me. And then, hang on, someone gave me Sithis. Why does that ring a bell? I know that's come up in the Elder Scrolls before, at some point. Possibly during the Dark Brotherhood quest in Oblivion, I cannot recall. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't entirely follow what's going on in this text, but yeah. Lorcan, that was the god the Dwemer were trying to create, but it didn't really quite work. Unstable mutant, says the book. But yes, what the book actually means in a full, I am not sure. Still, I seem to have got everything I could get from you guys, lovely. So I've immediately just added those to my collection, which just grows bigger and bigger, and okay, I won't deny, that mace looks amazing. So it is kind of disappointing that, yes, the stats on it are pretty bloody terrible. And everything else has been added to my clothing collection too, so, oh, I find this deeply pleasing. So, right, I could rush straight back to the Ashlanders, you know, reported to Nibani, etc, etc. And I'm gonna be honest, something else I've been told today has actually caught my interest a little bit more. And that's the mention of a previously unknown leader of the Thieves Guild, though it does make sense that yes, their leader would be hiding away. This is a faction that's very much under attack by the Kimono Tong right flipping now. Still, I would say, having officially confirmed that I am the Nerevarine, how about we call it a part there? But next time, right, we're going back to Vivek. Because not only do I have more work to do with the Morag and Tong, but yes indeed, the Thieves Guild might finally be ready to give me some big, exciting, sexy heists to do. After all, presumably, the faction leader, they've got to be the one handing out the good stuff. So yes indeed, coming up next time, a murder, theft, and maybe if we've got time, a tiny bit of saving the world too. So hopefully you join me for that. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Morrowind. Thank you very much, and goodbye. So okay, I've been outwitted by a butterfly and beaten up by a fish.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
I didn't steal anything! I'm sorry, I touched the shoes while I was shoe shopping! Okay, I feel like I may have just, walked in on something. What about this person? Can we talk to this person?